this is my revision method. And my revision method is don't revise, just do past papers. Okay. The reason for that is this. You are going to be tested on how well you answer A-level physics questions. Okay. Doesn't matter whether you understand masses of physics that's not in the A-level syllabus. That's not how they're going to test you. It doesn't matter that you could answer everything there is to know about steam trains or bridges or you know, the ECG traces on heart, you know, if your thing happens to be medicine. It doesn't matter. The only thing you're going to be tested on is the stuff that's in the specification, and the only way you're going to be tested is by doing A-level exam questions. And the only way you're going to get good at doing A-level physics exam questions is by doing them. My personal view is that once you've gone through the course, what you should do is past papers, and you should start as early as possible. So you should do past papers from the beginning. You don't need to limit yourself to the past papers that for the current course either. You can look at past papers from what are called legacy courses, so previous courses. It would be probably prudent to stick to your own exam board, but there are a great many A-level physics papers from previous courses. Now, you do need to be a little bit careful when doing that, because they might ask you questions about content that is not on your specification. But this is why you need to know what's on your own specification. And you need to know that anyway, regardless. So it's so long as you know what's on your specification, you can do past exam papers from previous exam courses. And that means that you don't run out of exam papers, because there are only 5 years, well, it's 5 years that the current exam courses have been operating. And of those 5 years, 2 of them were during the pandemic, and everybody did teacher assessed grades. So there aren't any past papers for those. There is, in addition, a specimen paper. And of course, there are AS papers as well as A2, so don't forget those. But yeah, there aren't enough papers, basically. You can do them all and still not have a proper handle on exactly how to answer exam questions. So what I want you to do is think about legacy papers, and but do be careful with them. So some content that they examine might not be required for you. Okay, so having said that, this is what I think you should do for your revision. Okay, so this is the revision process. You find a suitable past paper. Okay, you do it. Initially, you don't have to use exam conditions, but as you get better and as you get to doing more and more of these things, you should be timing yourself. You should be operating under exam conditions. You need to get good at the timing part of it as well. You need to make sure you have your data sheet available and your calculator available, and you're working quietly and timed. And once you've done it, you mark your own paper using the mark scheme. This might be quite difficult, and it certainly initially, for the longer 6-mark explain questions, where you might look at your answer and think, well, I don't know if I've got the marks on that. If that's the situation, what I suggest you do is you ask your teachers to mark them for you, or at least tell you whether or not your marking of your own work is correct or not. And then you, so that's a point at which you might need to ask for help. But then you make a list of really, really specific things that you got wrong. So, you know, tiny little bits of information, learn those, and then do the same thing again, another paper. And by the time you've done 3 of each of the previous past papers, so by the time you're getting to the end of year 13, you're going to have 3 papers in your proper A-level exams. So 3 of each of those is 9 papers. That's quite a lot of work, but 9 papers is not much time in the great scheme of things for a 2-year course. So 9 papers. Look at the mark schemes, look at the examiner's reports, make sure you've revised everything that you didn't get right. Hopefully, by the time you do your next paper, you'll look at it and say, I've done a question like that. I know how to attempt that one. I can figure that out. That must be in that equation. And that means substituting in there. I understand how to do that because you've already done it. Okay. So that is what I suggest you do. Past papers. And that's why this is my course platform, which I will talk about in a bit. If you're interested, you can see that I've got, those are the live past papers for the current courses, but I've also got legacy past papers for every exam board, and there are hundreds and hundreds of them. The biggest number of students is for the AQA. So if I look at the AQA papers, these are legacy papers, and I'm scrolling down and it looks like I'm getting to the bottom of the list, but it goes on and on. We have over 3,000 papers, so honestly you won't run out of papers if you know where to go to look for them.